Hey, DawgVent fans, Brent Rollins, Dayne Young, here to show you Film Don't Lie from Georgia, Bama. Some of you are going to say, I never want to see this again. And then I'm like, well, then why'd you click on the video? You knew what it was going to be. And then the rest of you are like, I need to know what happened to Georgia and why they didn't beat Alabama. We're here to tell you both sides of it. Frankly, Brent, I didn't think either team played that well in this game as a whole. Ty Simpson was efficient. I learned a lot about him. I don't think Bama's unbeatable by any means. I'm curious to get your take on that, but I do want to acknowledge, because someone said, Dayne, you got to go inside and get away from the crickets. And I hate to tell you, DawgVenter, but now you're going to get my gutter sound too, because it's raining out here in Bogart, and I'm not going inside to wake up the kids. Let's talk about Georgia, Bama.
We record this at night, it is what it is.
We're just a couple working dads. We're doing the best we can.
Doing the best we can, very much so.
All right. Was Gunnar Stockton doing the best he could? We start here middle of the first quarter.
Yeah, second drive. And this is the thing for me with him is there's certain times that he's just too rushed. He needs to breathe and relax. And this is a play that ideally, first off, this is great by the corner. Number one, Damani Jackson, I think is who it is for Bama. He's got eyes on – this is what Dalen Everett should do sometimes, and we're going to get to that in the defensive thing, where you got eyes on QB and you see it and you go make a play. That's phenomenal. But the reason to me that he's able to make this play is the mechanisms and the speed at which Gunnar operates here. What do I always talk about when we see this fake? Marry the fake in your eyes, and he does it faintly. And let's pause at pre-snap. Pre-snap, you've got a single high safety. You've got off coverage to the field. You've got a little tighter coverage closer to Georgia's sideline into the boundary. You've got a three-man front, kind of the Big 12 3-3-5 type look. You're not going to get pressured here. You're just not. Take your time with the fake. Let the vertical route get vertical, because what happens here is he's ready to throw and he's open, and this is the great decision. But look, when he makes that decision, what Humphreys is 10 yards down the field, it's too quick. If one has to take 3 more steps because you've taken your time, now he's not coming back and making that play, because he throws a laser over top of the deep, the 15, I think it was, that was there, or 18. Yeah, 18. Barely over top of 18, because he just threw it as hard as he could, threw a fastball, which is what it needed to be. But take more time. And there's going to be a play late in the game that's very important where he rushes it too much, and you just got to take more time in these things.
Yeah, you got to allow for the spacing to happen here. That's a really good point. And I had not seen that on the first look at this. So that's why I bring on you, to make me smarter about these things. So we get into the second quarter now, and note you gave me, you want to check out Juan Gaston here.
Yeah, have you enjoyed watching him play? Just your thoughts on how he moves.
I mean, for someone of that size, it's incredible. Really, this entire right side of the offensive line, which has been such a plague for Georgia for a month. It seems like if these two guys can be healthy, Glover and Gaston, man, if you're trying to pick a team that has gotten older, gotten better, will be a better version of themselves by potential playoff time, stuff like this with new offensive linemen, if they stay healthy, that I think it bodes well for Georgia.
And this is the thing, offensive linemen, edge players, anybody where movement skills is a thing, remember this for the rest of time. Athletes get better. Glover and Gaston are great athletes. They're probably the 2 most athletic linemen they have already, just in terms of how they move for their size. Freeling's a very solid athlete. Bobo's a solid athlete. So great. But those 2, elite feet and movement skills. And look what Gaston does to 42 right here. Just dog walks him. Once he latches on, it's over with. And you can see the communication. Good double. Delp does a great job of hitting. Terrible play by one in terms of his leverage, and you get a big running play. But the movement from the right, specifically Gaston, that creates and basically Chauncey Bowens just hides behind him. And Hubbard gets lost 18 gets lost in the traffic. One takes a bad angle, probably because he just can't see him. But yeah, Gaston's is a run blocker in potential now, and we're going to get to the later play, and I got thoughts on that. But just the potential of him to me is beyond elite. It's just a matter of get the guy reps, keep him healthy, and keep playing.
Need to give a shout out to Chauncey Bowens too. As much vision as we've seen from him, to the point that I've seen it on the vent too. A lot of you all think the same thing. Like, this guy looks like RB1 material. And I think coming into the season, that was locked up from Nate Frazier. You had a couple fumbles that happens. I think Frazier's still really good back. But Chauncey Bowens, man, it's just the combination of power and speed.
Yep. He's got to play. He just has to play.
Next play after this was a good one for Georgia. This is Colby Young on a double move.
And a great move by him. And the biggest thing for me with this play is what we've talked about this in the past. When you're the QB and you know the dude is wide open, do you remember what I've always said as it relates to this?
Give him room, throw it with a little air.
Throw the completion.
Yeah.
You don't need to throw the dime. You don't need to throw the in-stride ball here. This is the throw the ball up so they catch it ball. And he does a great job of just putting air under this. It's probably the best sort of touch pass because he knew the DB was cooked. But pass pro here was good. They bring everybody.
I mean, off his back foot too. This is not like perfect mechanic put it there, but like you don't have to be. Throw the ball up.
But yeah, good pass pro. Great job. Great answer. Like, look at the communication here. Slide, and Gunnar knows where he's going. Talking, hey, we're going this way, you got there. So Frazier does a good enough job of getting at least the closest one to the QB, and you get rid of the football before any sort of rush gets there. Great communication, great job, pass pro.
I'll tell you too, Brent, preseason and even last year when we did the Film Don't Lie on Colby Young, the transfer, I didn't really get the hype. I still don't know that he's necessarily like a QB1, but this was probably as strong of a game as I've seen from him as a whole.
Wide receiver one, you mean?
What did I say?
You said QB1.
Well, he's definitely not that.
Yeah.
Wide receiver one, yeah. QB1's best friend. How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't really believe the hype with him. And I heard all the same things that Roddy had reported from camp, but like this guy's making waves and in camp for Georgia. And this was the first glimpse. And I'm like, I need to reconsider because this was a very consistent target for Georgia in this game. And especially with a critical drop by a freshman at the end, you wish that would have been Colby in that spot.
You know what he looked like or what he looks like? He looks like a guy who had an issue last year that kept him off the field and he wants to go get drafted. That's what he looks like. And he's playing every play semi like it's his last.
All right, we move on later in the second quarter. This is first down play at 25.
So my note for this play was one of the dumbest plays of the game if this is not a read. That's the exact verbatim what I wrote in my notes on this play. Because I get wanting to get Branch a touch. But doing it with this in this manner and not reading defenders or not having the ability to pull this ball, because all right, so let's look at what should happen here. Pre-snap stop. So if we're let's just go back to the behind them view. Yeah, right here. So they shift. I want to say Georgia. So they shift. All right. So now Gaston's looking at like, okay, who's going to be if there truly is an unblocked defender? It's the guy to his right. It's the guy with the hand in the ground, and he's just going down. Right. So you want to typically, it might teach it differently, but typically you want to read that guy. All right. So he comes down and he goes way down. And Gaston's like, okay, you're going to cross my face. I'm just going to take you and throw you. That's beyond awesome. And now I have a lead on 42. This is a keep the ball read all day, every day. They had numbers to the outside of you.
Because look at this gap.
Go get 5 yards. and maybe more. Maybe you make one cut and they get some over pursuit and you get 7. But you can't take a negative yardage play like that in the numbers just to get the guy touched. Now, that might have been one of those, hey, we're giving it to Branch no matter what kind of things. You never know. Much like the Cash Jones 4th and 1 play we'll talk about. You just don't know. But still, that's an easy keep.
And I think that we all wanted to see Gunnar keep it a bit more in a high-profile game like this.
He has to.
Yeah.
He's not good enough and lifting the team enough as a passer right now. You have to be a threat as a runner.
This is the very next play.
This was this one.
This is Colby getting
the
first down. Yeah.
This is just like what we just talked about with him. He's playing like someone who just is, his last play, and he's giving max effort, and he's a physical beast right now that should be on the field as much as humanly possible. And we'll get to one play where all 3 guys are on the field that I may have talked about later, but no, or on Twitter. But yes, great job by him. And Gunnar does a good job of throwing these sort of curl routes in sort of into zone covers where it's defined. Looks one way, comes back to where he needs to, rips it, and lets this guy go get a first down. That's just phenomenal effort from him.
All right, so now we have midfield play fake.
So I put this play on Twitter because it's the first play like this all season that Noah Thomas, Zach Branch, and Colby Young were on the field. And you got 1st and 10, and you're trying to hit an explosive play. And I understand what he's trying to do. It's like, hey, you want to hit Branch, and ideally you hit him. If you're going to hit him, you hit him in the window that was there, not the window that closed. So you boom, back foot, throw, rip right now. Like rip that between the guys and in front of the safety if you're going to throw that. But then once you don't, like, to me, I don't know why you just don't throw a jump ball at the bottom of the screen and give your 6'6" guy a chance, or to the other side. I'm not either. Whatever you want.
Let's take a look at the pocket view, see what Gunnar was seeing.
And this is the other part that was struggling. So boom, I hit, and so and this is where. It's not his release. It's the mental decision to make the throw, because you can see that he makes the decision to make the throw. He's boom, right hitch, that second hitch, and now I'm ready to throw, which is too late. And then he sees the guy in the window. Avoids turnovers. Fine. Avoids turnovers. Dayne, where would you run? Like
right in front of me.
Like
right
straight.
There. Straight down the hash.
When in doubt, go straight. Like, this is, you have to, like, your peripheral should see something, and he goes there into the rush, basically. When in doubt, go straight, especially when you're not a speed demon. Like he's, like I said, he's a fullback playing quarterback.
I mean, if you're asking me as someone that is not as athletic as Gunnar Stockton is, I would still take wherever Juan Gaston is. I want to run behind where he's been. Yeah,
and also just the sheer numbers, like. To me, all right, or so go back to as you drop. So let's his eyes. So he's making the play fake. He should know that there's only one guy to the right, based on the pre-snap alignment. I'm gonna go where there's fewer guys. But anyway, I still think you need to find and I wrote this after the game, and I wholeheartedly believe this. If your offense doesn't find a way to get Thomas, Branch, and Young on the field together, change your offense. Just make it happen. Don't give me X, Y, Z, A, B, C. Don't give me positions. Don't give me that crap. I don't care. Get them on the field together.
Very next play, 2nd and 12, just shy of midfield. It's Chauncey Bowens.
And talk about some blocking.
I'm going to the next angle. I just wanted people to see what the play was, so it was refreshed.
And you missed the previous play, and then this is the next play. But like, this is this is movement. This is athleticism. Like, look
I mean,
what Glover
let's start
does
with
here.
Glover at 63. Yeah, right here at right guard.
And what's interesting too to me, and it's like, okay,
And Micah
How-
Morris over here. Both guards dominate this play.
how do two freshmen come in and instantly often kind of be guys who move people? It's because in high school that like you get the opportunity to do that, and you're sort of taught to do that in a way. In college, it's more so about because there's so much movement, you just don't see people really moving guys anymore or trying to move them. And this is just Alabama stunted, and then you call the perfect play into it. You call some split zone.
Okay, all right.
Or Lucky does a good job. Gaston's an athlete right here.
Let's talk about Gaston here for a second, because for someone of his size and his youth, this is like super savvy, shows that he's taking coaching well. Because, all right, you take the step here.
Well, he's taking the step to 10. Like, he's working towards 10 because he knows
he's working
the guy
towards
to his
10,
right, but 10 backs off.
He gets essentially a late chip here, which allows Lucky to get time over before 22 could completely blow up the play with Bowens. And then Gaston, how often do we see this, Brent, where Gaston, where a right tackle would try to work up toward 18 here and
Or
find
turn
a
their
guy.
head around.
Yeah.
But
like,
no, just go in the way and being an athlete and get in the way.
yeah, I'm
Freeling
not
does a good
I'm
job
not sitting
working
here
out.
telling you that's perfect by any means. What I'm saying is, like, he's still involved after that first block. And I think, man,
Micah Morris putting the game
I've had people
ground.
I've had people that know what they're talking about tell me no one around the country has good offensive line play. So I do think that's going to be a differentiator. If a team can establish good offensive line play, they're going to play a long time this season.
Yep, I agree. And this is why I made the comment last week, or two weeks ago after the Tennessee game. The run game was close to being explosive. It was just these little slight mental lapses or a slight bad cut from the backs, and you saw more of the like, hey, more practice, more working at it. You saw it be explosive in this game.
Yeah, and they ran on Bama and probably could have run on Bama more. Some of what Bama did so smart in this game was limit Georgia's possessions so they wouldn't have as many bites at this.
Yes.
Especially
the
in
third
the
downs,
first.
if you get off the field in any of those first two drives, it's a completely different game.
Coach Donnan called this one the watch along show. It was so he's like, what if you gave it to Bell through the backfield and let him go? And he's been calling for more touches for Dylan Bell anyway on the watch along show, but this one worked out for sure.
I might have to disagree with Coach a little bit right there, because I think just other guys are better receivers than him. But these are perfect ways to do it, and the usage of Branch as the decoy here, like Herb Street pointed it out on the broadcast. Like, that's just exactly what you want to do on things like this, is fake that going the other way, and you get good blocking. Drew Bobo thought it was going to be a TD, not quite, but a big time play. And creativity. I mean, they've done variations of this stuff before. Just putting it together, and good job by Monroe Freeling knowing where the ball's going.
Chauncey Bowens by getting out there to a man.
Yes, like this is. That's why it's when you get in people's way, create misdirection, and know which way the ball is going. So get your head. I mean, even Freeland could have worked up even more so and just almost run a little bit through 10 and just kept running. And if 10 wants to go around him, just turn around. But
I mean, yeah, look how the misdirection works on 10.
Hesitate, done. So keep moving. The ball's not going that way. Keep moving. But still, it works. It all works. Like, do those running game. The running game is, I don't want to say easy, but like not as hard as people make it out to be. Figure out who you don't have to block, figure out which way the ball is going, have some level of misdirection, and you can have consistent success.
All right, so we are getting to late third quarter here, and this is another kind of scramble drill from Gunnar Stockton.
These are the plays that just drive me insane, because your OC dials up a big play. And if I'm up in the box, I'm like, okay, boom, boom. All right, patience, throw it. And even if you don't throw it to Delp, even if you don't throw it to Delp, look who's wide the freak open on the dig coming back there. But you've kind of got a little spastic in the pocket a little bit, and you leave the pocket. But that ball has to go to Delp.
Let's see what he had in the pocket here.
Boom, boom. Like, that guy's on the ground. Throw the ball. This one was frustrating for me. Obviously, that you can hear a little bit in my voice, and that's where I understand this is his sort of risk aversion to me, where it's like, okay, it's muddy. It's not maybe perfect is not the word, but clear exactly what it needs to be. So I'm going to be conservative with the ball. And this is the drive that ends up in the fourth down play.
Well, and so before we get to that, because I skipped one that I know you wanted to touch on. So this is a few plays back. So this is the Talon Taylor drop. I'm just setting up where we're going from here. Everyone saw what happened here. I don't think there's a whole lot for us to say. I mean, this was schemed up perfectly, and Stockton throws a really good ball. This has to be a touchdown catch for really any player on Georgia's roster that is a wide receiver.
He left the ground. He kind of semi-jumped. Don't know why he did that. And then anytime to me, when you go index fingers together instead of pinkies together, unless it's right in your face, like if it was right in your face, okay, index fingers together, or if it's over your head, index fingers together. But any other time, pinkies together. Put your little fingers together.
I mean, you talk about timing with Gunnar. This is one of the best examples of good timing from him.
Yep. And you know, that's, yeah, you play in high school at night, but it's also the kid's first night game, and it was only a second snap of the game. Like, so
now
who knows what? But this was the one that was just this one was even more frustrating because this should be a touchdown. Like, this was perfectly called. This was perfectly set up. It was perfectly against the defense. Get the ball to him somehow. And I don't know, like, throws like a laser that he's not able to handle. And I don't exactly, I mean, I get it because you want to get it to him because he's kind of coming under. Branch is coming under. But that thing, he just can't handle. But look at how set up this is if you pause it. If he catches this ball right there, you're getting your 70, you know, this the guy that's right in front of him is getting blocked. 74 is getting the guy that's on the 41-yard line. You're going to be maybe that guy makes a play. And then look at the safety at the, you know, that's almost on the 30. His back is turned because he's got to go cover the deep ball. 5, you're going to get blocked. This is a touchdown. That's frustrating.
A lot of frustrating in the second half for Georgia's offense. And it's before you even get to what I think was a bad coaching decision. But I also don't like when they do the fireworks and we get a hazy view. I didn't like this from the TV copy either.
So, and they were staying with the tight copy. Like, did you notice that they were staying with like weird camera angles because of the smoke? And I wonder if that's the reason that it didn't get buzzed down to get reviewed.
I don't know.
Because and I don't know what the review people were looking at to make that call to buzz down. But like, because I've seen teams go tempo and, you know, it'd still be like, blow the whistle. Hey, the previous play is under review. I mean, heck, it happened earlier in the game, right? Georgia was trying to go fast when McCray almost scored. And they, like, remember that when he scored and then they gave it to him, but they buzzed it down and stopped it. Like, I think the Hayes messed with that.
So this is the third down play. This is the one that Kirby said that they had decided at this point, had they gained anything, that they would go for it on fourth down. That fundamental decision, I wholeheartedly disagree with, because Brent, that's saying that if Georgia gets 1 yard and this is 4th and 3, that they've decided to go for it based on their sequencing. And
I mean, I who knows what that in that regard.
I'm just saying, based on the words that he said. Now, maybe he wasn't being as literal as I'm taking this, and totally fine. That could be on me.
He probably would have changed his mind, I think, if they only get 1 yard here, potentially, or get, you know, I think he changes his mind. And the decision to go for it, I actually don't have a problem with, because there's like 13 something odd minutes left in the game. Like, you're trying to like go get the lead, not necessarily just play for a tie in a way.
I think you're trying to tie the scoreboard and put pressure on Alabama in a way that you haven't done the whole game. So and Alabama had not scored a point in the second half up to this point.
So there is an element of, hey, the score's tied. Now they have some level of pressure, but it's still either way. The problem to me with this play is twofold. If you know you're going forward on fourth down, that means it's going to be short yardage. That means Cash is going to be in the game. He shouldn't be in the game here.
Bowens,
because you're faking the ball. Yeah. You're not giving him the ball. If you're faking the ball to him, and the next play is a give to that back, it's got to be the other guys. It has to be, because like nobody's messing with that. The other thing, this is when I mentioned earlier about Gunnar being in a hurry. This has to anybody that runs this type of play, 2 shuffles. Watch how many shuffles he takes. 1, and then he goes. Because he goes 1 shuffle, that the lineman that's working off of Freeling knows he has the ball and is now working upfield, not working to the side. If he goes 1 more shuffle and takes his time, Freeling caves that guy down another step or 2. You get a kick out. Gaston leads, you get the first down. Little details like that just like obviously drive me insane, but it's also maybe they coach it that way and you just in the moment go quick. I've seen QBs, Buster Faulkner's kid. He still to this day as a senior in high school doesn't take that second shuffle, even though he's been taught ad nauseum to do it, because he just gets in a hurry, sees the hole, he goes. And that's you can't do that on a QB counter like this. 2 shuffles. He does a good job of getting what he can get because it gets muddied because of the way they play it. And
this is not a full-on read. This is straight up QB keeper, right?
Yeah, this is just QB counter.
Yeah.
Yep.
Based on where the linemen are doing. All right, so then that takes us to the fourth down. We've already discussed the strategy piece of this. Let's talk about the play itself.
I mean, is this a read or not? Because if this is a read, you keep that every day and twice on Sunday. Like that guy is screaming with his shoulders turned down the line of scrimmage.
When you see zero.
The fact that he kept that, or that he gave that, tells me that this was a give all along. This is the exact situation that you saw on fourth down against Marshall or something, or one of them, I think Marshall, where he just keeps it and goes and scores.
So if it is indeed a read and he makes the correct read,
like
maybe
boom,
touchdown.
You just go get 2 yards. You get. I don't think you get a touchdown. I mean, he's not. I don't. Maybe, but you get the first down. You definitely get the first down.
If this guy's still looking at cash,
potentially, yeah. But all right, the other part that people were talking about. So I went and looked on my notes. I stay off of social media when I'm rewatching the game, and just to get through it, so I'm not distracted. And I wrote on this play, think this is on Glover. And then someone in the DawgVent, I forget who it was, and sorry, thank you for pointing it out, said that George Foster put a thread on Twitter about how he thought it was as well. Because, and the reason I think that, watch every lineman but him. What does every lineman but him do?
They're all going to the right.
They're all stepping to the right.
Yeah.
They're every single one of them. So this to me is a sort of zone right to the weak side. So Gaston thinks that Glover is coming to help right there, and he's going to chip him into Glover so Glover can get him turned, and then he works up. You can tell that's what he thinks, because he's not trying to do that. And that's what the issue is, I think. I don't think it's him missing that block. I think it's a miscommunication, wrong step. I mean, Glover may have thought needed to do something different. Who knows? But that's what I think. And Overton's not just a slouch of a guy that can't make that play after you've shoved him a little bit. Because look who makes the actual tackle. When we talked about, is this a read or not? The guy that trips him up is the guy that dove. Like, Overton gets his shoulder, I think, a little bit, but the other guy, I think, got his feet a little bit. But still, it's all bad. Know your
It's all
personnel.
bad, but
Know
I
your
think
situation.
it's bad coaching as much as anything else. And I think that's straight on Kirby Smart. I do not think it was the right decision. I think he put his team in a bad spot. I'm not saying that's why they lost the game. You're right. There's so much time left in it, but you have a really good field goal kicker. Your defense has played better in the second half. You haven't even been tied with Bama since the game started. So get to that point. I don't know.
Take a breath.
I understand people that like the aggression and say go win the ball game, but I guess my point is you're not going to win the ball game right there.
Yeah. I don't mind it. I don't mind that part of it.
But
Just
the way that
right players in
the way that Alabama had played possession in that game, Brent, you may have lost the ball game right there. Because
I think maybe that comes into his mind where it's like, okay, if we just tie the game here and they can do whatever they want offensively. Now, granted, they hadn't scored in the second half and they didn't, but there's probably some. Actually, now that you say that, does this decision tell you what he thinks about his defense?
Exactly. There was so little confidence in the defense that in a home situation, Sanford Stadium, against an Alabama team that has not scored in that half, still didn't have confidence in the defense to do what they needed to do in a limited possession situation.
That might be
And that's your conservative defensive coach. Historically, he dreams for that moment to tie the game and get his defense back on the field.
Yeah.
Yes, 10 years. That's what we've seen at Georgia. Please give me a tie game with 10 minutes to go on my defense on the field, because they're going to flip the field and give our offense the ball at the 50. Didn't happen.
Nope.
Rant over. Final play here. And I know a lot of people.
The Branch play.
Yeah.
I think this was before the one he threw to Branch. What in the world?
Yeah.
My notes, WTH, question mark.
Surprised you get WTF on me.
Nah.
Maybe later in the season. Let another 8 overtime against Tech happen.
All right, so you got play action. You've got, sort of stop route, bringing in, however you want to term it, whip if it's usually a shorter field, but get to the middle field and then Branch breaks back out. He is wide open. Like boom, look at the space and separation. And then you got a clear out route and a backside dig. And I think it's London on the other side. But so you got that.
You're right.
The only thing I could come up with is he sees that when he's making the fake right there, he thinks that guy's a free rusher. He thinks 94 is free rusher. And the sad part to me is if he thinks that means he doesn't know his guy's coming across to make the block.
Which is not something that would happen in the fourth quarter of an SEC game.
No, and it might just be a moment of who knows what, mental frozenness. I can't really even what you would want to say, but like Grant, the next throw he made was a laser to Branch. I think it was the next play, right? The one that he threw up over top people, and they still get a little bit, but that play was just kind of like
Yeah,
it was weird from the start. But hey, you turned the ball over, they didn't. You had more penalties. You looked, you had issues, and you give up 13 third downs, and you lost by 3. But the point you made earlier, I think might be if we, 5 weeks from now look at this game, we might look back at this game and be like, both of these teams are kind of meh.
Mm-hmm.
There's a potential.
Totally a chance that Bama goes and loses at Vandy, or loses to Vandy at home. I think that's possible.
Yes.
Because guess what Vandy's about to do to them? The same thing they just did to Georgia. They're about to limit possessions, do some 9-minute drive with that little crazy quarterback of Pavia, and
their run game's better. Their running game hasn't gotten worse; it's gotten better.
And their tackling on defense is better. Bama's can out-athlete them in ways that Bama could not out-athlete Georgia. If anything, Georgia should have been able to out-athlete Bama in a lot of spots based on roster assimilation at this point. Didn't happen.
And I do, when you look at the long term of this, when Kirby talked today about he knows his team can stop the run and run the football. This still feels like it should be a 2017 Jake Fromm offense where it's play action heavy and it's deep shot. Dayne, I looked at this because I was curious based on some of the stuff that we had done. Gunnar has the lowest average depth of target in the Power 4, 6 yards. It's like 6.1, maybe 6.0, something like that. Do you realize it drops on play action to 5.3?
Yeah, all the stuff behind line of
How's that
scrimmage are just
possible?
quick screens. Yeah, it's got to be the quick. It's got to be the quick screen reads, RPOs.
That but I went and looked back at every season in the Kirby era. I think the lowest lowest average depth of target on a play action throws in any other year was 9, and that was last year with Carson Beck. Like every other year, 10.2. 1 year Stetson's was like 14 on play action. Fromm's was 12. It's just that's when you take your shots, and you've got the athletes on the outside to take the shots, and that's get to that part, get some of that level of explosiveness to go with. I think the really good running game that they're going to just get better and have, because if Frazier can fix the fumbling thing, I still think he could be a good player. Phillips, I think, was banged up a little bit. That's why he didn't play. But yeah, they can. That's what they got to be, I think.
I don't think there's a whole lot of reason for Georgia fans to be concerned on offense. I think they can be underwhelmed and expect more. And I think Georgia's going to have to deliver, because based on the quality of defense we've seen against good opponents, Georgia's going to have to score more points. I don't think you can rely on this team to go win a bunch of games, limiting the opponent to 20 or fewer points.
I wholeheartedly agree.
So those two offensive linemen growing up quick,
staying healthy.
Yes. Health at Georgia's offensive line.
I love that 5-man group. I like from minute one, after you watch some of those, I knew Gaston was going to be that. Once I saw Glover play and saw him move, I'm like, all right, he's got to play.
I mean,
he moves too well.
With those 5, the one that makes the most mistakes is probably Freeling. And you feel okay about that.
Oh, you still feel like, well, I still think Gaston and Glover they've made some mental mistakes, obviously.
Sure. But I'm projecting ahead. I understand. I guess I'm saying Drew Bobo's played really well. They beat Tennessee with Micah Morris playing right guard for one play and pulling. We showed that in that film. Don't lie. We're going to stop recording here because we have some defense to talk about. That's in a separate video. But DawgVent, we appreciate y'all. This is only for y'all. So
that's right.
Thanks for being members. Thanks for hanging out with us and letting us do what we do. We'll chat with y'all next time.